Hello and welcome back to another video. So in this video today we're going to be talking about keyboards, and this also applies to synths. We're going to be using the X32 to mix and get it coming through the PA today. And obviously first off we've got to set up our PA. If you want a more in-depth guide to that, I'll leave a link in the top corner to our first video that you can go and watch through, but you can also go watch through all of the others if you haven't already. So, first off, let's get this PA set up, then we'll go into some more details. Right, so we're all done now. Everything's set up, we've got sound coming out of all of our speakers. So what we've got to do now is we've got to set up the piano so that then we can obviously go in and mix it. So to start off with, if you're setting up a piano or a keyboard or a synth, then you're going to need a stand. You're going to need a stand and you're going to need the keyboard itself. So if you don't have a stand, then you can't play, right? Because the keyboard won't be high enough for it. So we've got our keyboard here. This is the Yamaha keyboard with the stand. I'm going to have it so that whoever's playing it when she comes in can stand up and use everything nicely. So I'm going to set it up standing up. If you wanted to change the plate of it, there's a little pin down at the bottom here. You can just pull this out and round. Actually, I'll show you that now. So you take the keyboard off. There's a little pin down this side. If you pull that out, it can come down as far as you want and back up. And then push it back in, so it locks it back into place. And then you can put your keyboard back on top and you can play standing up. Okay? The next thing you're going to need is you're going to need jack cables. And you're going to need XLR cables, because we're doing a left and right output of this. So, just like we did with our drum, bass and our guitar, we'll plug them in and then we'll come round. So I'm going to bring you in a little bit closer so then you can see all of that. So, we've now got our cables, we've got everything here. First off, we're going to need to bring some power to this. So the keyboard will most likely come with a power cable. So plug that power in, plug it into the back here. Okay. Now, on this piano, there is only one output, so we can't unfortunately do a stereo out. We can just do a mono. So we're going to grab our DI box. Here, we've got our DI box. We can put an input here and we can output a balanced XLR signal there. So grab your cable and we're going to take it out. You'll either have a left and right out, or it'll say out or phones on it, because phones is like headphones. Then you can plug that into the input here. That can just stay down at the bottom. Then you can grab your XLR cable, take that into the back of the DI, and that can just run along and across to your stake. And there we have the keyboard all set up. So just so we can check that we've got power, turn it on, and then unplug the phones. We have power and we have the keyboard working. Plug it into the phones, If you want a sustain pedal, there's a sustain spot on the back where it just plugs in. Again, it's very similar to a jack cable like this. It'll just go into the sustain spot rather than the phone spot. That's something you've got to be careful of when you're plugging these in, that you don't plug it into the sustain spot by accident. Because it is in dim light, it is quite hard to see what it actually says. So, we're all set up here. All we need to do now is go to the mixing desk, check that we're getting sound through, and I'll bring in our performer to come and play us some keys. Right, so we're all set up now. Melissa's decided to sit down. She's going to be playing some keyboard for us. We're going to get it through the PA, and then we're going to do some mixing and see how things go. So let's get on with this. Right, so if you can just give me just anything, and I'll get it coming through. So first off, what I'm doing here is I'm just checking the gain levels, setting a level, and then I'm bringing it through the PA here. And if you had a stereo DI, you might want to bring both through rather than just the one. And then here I am just bringing some through the monitor so she can hear herself out of the monitors. Right, just play me your song. So here I'm just setting a rough level so it's not ridiculous. And then I'm going to go over to the low cut, add a bit of a low cut in, because we don't want all of those boomy frequencies, especially if we've got a full band on stage, which we'll come to in a later video. Then I'm adding a little bit of a cut. So this cuts in the low mids, this just gets rid of some of that boxiness. Just adjusting, like fine tuning the frequency. Adding another little dip in. Again, because it sounded really, really like mid-heavy, so I just want to take some of that down so we've got a more balanced range of everything. So here I am going to the compressor, adding a little bit of compression, adjusting the ratio. I believe I put a 5:1 ratio on. And then I'm just going over and adding some reverb on. So I'm going over to the effects, setting up my reverb. It's already been preset for us. So I'm just trying to mix a level between the two. So adding some in, bringing that reverb in now, and then balancing the level between both. So I'm going back over to the EQ here, adding a little bit of a high cut in, because it was quite harsh. Just moving that over. Right, so there we have it. We've done our piano, we've looked at how to mix it, getting it coming through the speakers, setting it up, everything like that. So that's it for this week's video. There will also be another video coming out this week, and that is to do with vocals. So we're going to look at everything vocals, setting them up, which the setting up part of the vocals is the easiest part. The mixing, making sure there's no feedback, that's the hard part. So that's all for next week. For this week, there will be more videos coming as well. So that's all for this week, and I will see you later.